Well, okay. So why don't you get this guy up on the line?
Okay, I think I have him in here.
Okay, great. So what we're gonna do now is start talking about the individual games. There are. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, that's the right one. I just want to make sure I have the right guy.
Okay, so we're gonna be talking about Tekken Tag Tournament 2, Injustice, KOF 13, BBCP, Killer Instinct, Smash Melee, Ultimate Marvel 3, and Ultra Street Fighter 4. And we don't have a ton of time at this point, but we are gonna try to get through players to watch, any interesting storylines that might be going on if you are interested in watching, and then anything else, maybe characters to watch, stuff like that. So what we're gonna do is, for some of those games, James and I can talk intelligently about them. For some other games, I kind of interviewed people earlier today, but for some of the games, we're gonna bring on people to talk about it directly.
Right. And so, obviously, one of the biggest games this year, one of the craziest stories, especially stemming from last year, where Nintendo almost put the kibosh on streaming any of Smash
Right.
to turn into one of the most high. I mean, it did break the record officially. It was the first game to break that 100,000 mark, and we got to 120,000 while Smash was on.
That's right.
And now this year, we went from 700 players to 1,000 players. And so Smash has just been having the craziest of years. And so we're going to bring on Mr. Bobby Scar. Are you there, Bobby?
Sup with it? Good to talk to you guys. What's good?
That's
All right.
good.
Hey, people at home watching, please let us know. Just want to make sure if you can hear him.
Yeah, hopefully he should be able to hear perfectly. So,
Your face is showing up all over the chat.
wow, look at you. You got
Yes, the people's champion mode. Mike Ross, you'll never take it from me.
Wow. It's like
You will
that,
never
huh?
Dude, I was there first.
All right. So that means at EVO we got to set up another exhibition. which
Dude, let's
is
go.
Scar versus Mike Ross in Melee, first to five. So there you go.
Dude, Mike Ross, let's just Makoto mirror. Come on, dude. We'll tell you about that one casual we played at the office.
Oh, you guys did, huh?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
wow. Which game? Which game did you play?
It was like right before Ultra came out.
Was it Street Fighter 4? You mean?
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Taking
okay.
over
Grinding
SF4
it
now, huh?
I was grinding out for a long time.
Nice. Are you entering Street Fighter this year at EVO?
I am.
Holy crap. Okay, good
But I'm
stuff.
also commentating, so I have a tough call
Right.
if I want to commentate
Right,
during that block or if I want to play. I'll probably end up commentating Melee. honestly.
Nice.
All right. Well, enough about Street Fighter. That's not why we brought you on. We brought you on to talk about Melee.
Yes.
That is a fact.
And I mean, on it, like I said, I touched on it a little bit, the crazy year that Smash has had, but obviously there's been a lot of really strong storylines with the players themselves.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I think most of what we should talk about are like the players and the storylines. But if you are interested in like kind of the history of like the past year, the Melee and On Me crew is actually going to do a panel at Evo on Saturday at I think 6 p.m. in one of the ballrooms. So
nice.
if you want to know more about that, you can check that out.
Great.
But as far as what's going on this year, I think the biggest storyline is the rivalry between C9 Mango and P4K EMP Armada. You guys know anything about what's going on there?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I know that they've been beating each other in tournaments, but I mean, in the past few tournaments, Mango's kind of had the upper hand, right?
So I'll tell you, Armada all the way from Sweden. In the past, we've gotten to see a set between those two maybe once a year. This year, he's been in the U.S. basically all month. So we've actually seen Mango Armada sets the past like 4 out of 5 weekends. Super Sweet went to Armada. MLG Anaheim went to Mango. CEO went to Armada. Last week, Kings of Cali went to Mango.
Interesting.
These guys are tied 8-8 in sets all time.
No way.
The crazier thing is that I think that games is something like 32-32. These two are in a neck and neck race, and I don't know, man. It looks right now like they are pushing the game to its absolute limits. And if we see a grand finals between these two players, I think that they've definitely solidified their spots as the undisputed best in the world.
Is that something that you're expecting?
I am expecting it, yes. But then the big question is, are previously the favorite for everything this year was PPMD.
Right.
This guy never dropped a set in 2014 until MLG Anaheim. And there he placed 4th. He lost to Leffen, Mango, and Mewtwo King. So it's a big question if he can beat Armada this year, and what he's going to do at this tournament. And I think he's the only one who's going to really challenge Mango and Armada.
So you don't think that there's really that many other people who have the potential? Because I know a lot of old school guys are coming back, like even a previous Evo champ, Ken, right? Sephiroth Ken, who's now Liquid Ken, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And whether or not Ken or any of the old school players can do it, we used to have, like, our scene used to have 5 or 6 players who would never lose to anyone outside of, like, their own ranks. But recently we've seen a blurring of the lines. So we have people like Axe, Pikachu player from MDVA,
right?
Not MDVA, from Arizona. Amsa, the Japanese Yoshi.
Dude, I saw him at, what was it? I think I saw him at MLG. I was watching the stream.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Dude, I was
watching that too.
I fell in love with Amsa's Yoshi, like, instantly. I was so hyped by that, so.
Yeah, and, he actually had a tough time at MLG, but he beat Mewtwo King last weekend at Kings of Cali 4, which is, like, absurd. No one would have predicted this. So we really need to keep our eye out for these up-and-coming players.
Nice.
Well, what's the international landscape shaping up to be? You mentioned Armada, you mentioned Amsa, and anybody else coming?
Leffen, also from, I think, Sweden.
Right.
He's a big threat, and he's taken many sets off of Armada this year, though this is like pre-summer of Smash Armada. He's also taken sets off Hungrybox, one of the other top players, and he very surprisingly took a set off the PPMD in pools at MLG Anaheim. So we'll see if Leffen, he's kind of like, he's got a lot to prove. All summer he's had a lot to prove, but if he does well at EVO, if he breaks into the top 5, that's a big statement.
Okay.
I mean, I'm curious about something. Mango won EVO last year, and then he also won MLG this year.
He did.
If Mango can take EVO this year, even if he's fighting against Armada in Grand Finals, do you think that puts Mango as a, like, undisputed number 1? Does he become officially number 1 above Armada, or because of their tight record, it's still impossible to say?
Yeah, I mean, so they have a really tight record against each other. I think right now the big question, at least from my perspective, is the question of, is Mango the greatest of all time or not?
Wow.
It's not, is Armada the greatest of all time? It's not, it is any player the greatest of all time. We're kind of at this place where in 2014, if he wins this tournament, then I think that he absolutely solidifies his claim to greatest of all time. But if Armada wins, he has a claim to it, which previously didn't before.
Wow,
That's
so
kind of
there's a lot riding on this.
Yes, and they both know it. They know it. They've had the craziest sets over the past year, the past like month and a half. So there's a lot going on, and I don't know, man. This is going to be the craziest tournament of all time.
I mean,
awesome.
Almost 1,000 people for Super Smash Bros. Melee. Are you kidding me? In 2014?
Right. Yeah.
What's going on?
It's awesome, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We absolutely can't wait.
All right, great. Is there anything else that you want to say about the game, the tournament, anything of that sort?
The only other thing that I would want to add is that last year, I feel like our players were not ready for the main stage at EVO. This is our first big FGC tournament, and really our first tournament on a stage like that. So I think I saw a lot of our players looking kind of like deers in headlights. They were really nervous. They weren't necessarily playing their best.
Okay.
And I think the past year we've had so many more opportunities being in front of crowds that are kind of like, not all made up of Smashers. And this is going to be another opportunity to, show our game to non-Smashers. And I hope that the nerves issues are, the nerves are kind of like calm. And, I hope that we get great sets. But I think that we're ready this year.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, what you said was kind of what was the opposite what happened with Wobbles. Because the audience was so in favor of the Infinites, he got so much boost from the audience that he got all the way to Grand Finals. So
yeah. Absolutely. And if we see another kind of dark horse player like that break into the top 3, that's going to be so crazy.
Dude, I'm rooting for Amsa, dude. Let's go Yoshi.
Yeah.
Dude.
Let's go Yoshi.
Okay, cool.
All right, cool. Well, I guess that's, we're going to try to keep this short. We don't have a ton of time. We're trying to get to a bunch of games, so that's all we're going to have time for.
The absolute last thing, this might be Prague's last tournament commentating.
Right, that's
so,
right.
Please give Prague all of your support. That's kind of like not a player storyline, but a big deal about EVO this year for us.
Yeah,
so if you want to follow him on Twitter, he's at ProgDucto. Tell him how much you love him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not
So
100% positive, but I'm pretty sure that Prague and D1 are gonna do top 8, and
I'm
so
pretty sure.
I mean, it warms my heart to know that that Prague may get to, you know, end his commentating career at Evo top 8 with his longtime, you know, commentary partner like that. I think that's fantastic. So,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
yep. Okay.
All right. Thanks a lot for
All right,
joining us.
thanks.
I'll see
Thanks
you
for
at
having
Evo.
me on.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I'll see you this week.
Yeah, I know, right? See you in a couple of days.
All right, bye bye.
All right.
All right.
All
So-
right. Who am I going for next?
You're gonna
here?
go for this guy. We're gonna bring on
yes.
Giby. Wow, I just had the info and now I don't have it anymore. But Giby is gonna come on to talk about King of Fighters 13.
Okay.
It's-
Oh, there he is. I got him.
You already got him? Okay, great.
Okay. There we go.
So we're trying to ring him right now. See what's going on with that.
Okay. Let's see if he will catch on, pick up pretty soon. Again, Gibby.
There you go.
Yep, Gibby.
Hey, guys. Can you hear me?
Yep, we
I can hear you fine.
Cool.
Awesome. Sick. Let me go into a different room really quick so you don't hear anything else.
Sure.
No problem.
But yeah, this is Gibby, aka Manchest on Twitter. Been part of Arcade Shock for a very long time. In fact, Arcade Shock's gonna have a lot of cool things at Evo. Those exclusive Sanwa Street Fighter buttons.
I myself am going to be picking up a bunch of stuff at that booth this
Oh
year.
yeah, for sure. I need to grab some of those
But
buttons.
in addition to that, very, very long time player in the fighting game scene, better known for SNK games, and so we brought him on to talk about King of Fighters 13.
Yeah. So what did you guys need to know?
Well, we'd like to talk about players to watch. We'd like to talk about any interesting storylines that are going on. And then after that, do you have any other interesting points or things that you think people should be aware of going into EVO?
As for storylines, I mean, this Evo is basically all international talent for KOF 13. The majority of U.S. players aren't going to be showing up for whatever reason.
Really?
I'm sure most of you have heard Reynolds won't be able to make it. Reynolds, for those who don't know, is last year's KOF 13 champion. He actually has some family issues he has to deal with this weekend,
geez.
so he's not going to be able to make it, which
Okay.
obviously is a bummer for a lot of people.
Right.
USA can't defend the crown, but there are plenty of other good players to watch out for. And right now, I personally feel the biggest storyline is, can anyone take out Tokido?
Yeah.
Because he's been on a roll this year. Like, he has won. I think he's won every single King of Fighters tournament he's entered.
Yeah, I mean the really big one, which was the Cafe ID Global Tournament. The main event there was King of Fighters, and there was a ton of players who went out for that event, and Tokido won that one, right?
Yeah, Tokido won it. He ended up getting sent to losers by, I believe it was ET, and he came back and just demolished ET in grand finals, playing out of losers, and it was amazing to watch.
Yeah, one of the most interesting things was that in that 4Gamer article, Tokido said that this Evo, he's only practicing Street Fighter and KOF.
Right.
Which is like the least number of games he's ever entered, because he's always entered like everything, right? So
Yeah, I was about to point that out too. Tokido is known for playing everything. He's never been a specialist at one game. He's just good at every game he plays. But he's taking King of Fighters seriously, and it shows. There are a lot of people who don't give Tokido enough credit because he's not a dedicated KOF player.
Right.
But he's proven that right now he is the strongest KOF player there is. Like, he is the guy that everyone needs to try to take out at Evo.
Okay.
So, I mean, what about a lot of the other players, such as like Mad KOF, Luis Cha, Romance, all these guys? I mean,
from what I heard, Romance actually isn't going to be entering King of Fighters. He put it up on Twitter or Facebook. I forgot where I read it. But he's going to be at Evo, but he won't be entering the tournament for some reason.
Wow.
I don't know the exact reasoning, but it was his choice, and that's cool.
Okay.
Matt KOF, on the other hand, he's back. And a few months ago, Ken Sezang, in an interview with, I believe it was a Korean gaming website, claimed that Matt KOF is going to win Evo 100% sure. Like, he guaranteed a victory. He, Babe Ruth, pointed at number one and said, "Yo, Matt KOF is taking this.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's extremely confident. And the only thing I can remember is if this happened before or after Tokido went and stomped everyone in Korea.
Right.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
that's the thing. I hope it happened before, because
Yeah.
I just want to see I just want to see someone crush everyone's hopes and dreams. That's the type of viewer I am. I just want to see
For sure.
one guy just crush everything. And Matt KOF is an amazing player. He got first place in 2012. He got third place last year, and his partner Verna is also going to be showing up this year. He took top 8 the past 2 years as well.
Okay. Well, I got a note from Rugal316 on Twitter, and he said that there's also another player named Mysterio
Yes,
who's actually apparently getting up there and beat Reynolds and Luis Cha in like first to 10s and 15s and such.
yeah. Mysterio, he's a Chilean player who plays with Zero Black.
Oh, really?
He is definitely a force to look out for. He ended up losing to Reynolds at CEO in the tournament. Or I'm sorry, not Reynolds. I forgot who beat him in the tournament. But I believe he got third place at CEO.
Okay.
And afterwards, they played like first to 10s, first to 15s, and he beat Reynolds 15-7, and it was very one-sided.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
So he's one to watch out for. Another, of course, is ET, who is a longtime KOF player. Prior to KOF 13, he was known for being like one of the best KOF players in the world for like KOF 11, 2K2, and stuff like that. He never left Taiwan, but he got second place at the Cafe It tournament. And this past weekend, there was the King of Fighters Challenge in Tijuana, and he ended up taking out everyone.
Wow.
So,
okay.
Who else is going? I mean, Xiaohai is always a name to look out for.
Right,
Okay.
right.
When I spoke to Tokido and I forget his handle, Kevin from SG Fighter, I think that's his name.
Uh-huh.
I forget, but they both told me the same thing, that Xiaohai has been practicing the hell out of this game.
Okay.
And Tokido says Xiaohai is definitely someone that he doesn't want to see in the brackets.
Oh, really?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So I don't know what he did, but I really want to see it. I need to see it. And then you have like some of the staple names from the U.S. The Beast, Luis Cha, Mr. KOF, Ricardo Diaz, Yoshi, and a few others. One name in particular from Mexico that really stands out right now is Violent King. I'm sure you guys are familiar with that Iori Rekka loop, the Infinite that he has.
Yeah.
He's the only player that has consistently done it in tournament, and he can do it to where it kills you. He's got it down like nonstop. Once he touches you, you're pretty much dead. So it's one of those things where it's like, oh wow, this guy's doing something that's like execution-wise is a pain in the ass to do, but it's like he just keeps doing the same loop over and over. This isn't exciting.
Okay, whatever.
It's exciting and it's not all at the same time.
Right, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we just mentioned it on the Smash stuff. Like when Wobble started doing the Infinite, everyone went crazy.
Yeah.
So that's the way it works. But yeah.
There's,
go ahead. Go ahead.
There's this one player that I wanted to bring up. He plays in Northwest, like in the Seattle area. His name is Joel A. That's all he goes by. I've been told about him by several people, specifically like Lord BBH. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with him.
Oh yeah.
But he's been telling me about him for the past few years, about how he's such an amazing player, and I was like, oh, he can't be that good. He's not. Northwest Majors, watching him play, I'm just going to throw this out. Hands out, he is my favorite KOF player to watch play right now.
Really?
He plays King of Fighters, right? He plays KOF 13, very very old style. Like he plays it as if it were an older KOF, like 98.
Okay.
And it's like so exciting to watch him play. He ended up taking out Romance in Northwest Majors. He almost took out Reynolds at Northwest Majors, and in casuals, like first to 10 sets, he came down to like anchor to anchor with Reynolds and Tokido every single time he played them.
Wow. Okay.
Cool.
So he's definitely someone that the majority of people don't know about, but sweet Jesus, is he amazing? I mean,
Okay,
I
cool.
want to see this guy go far.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to point out one thing. Shout outs to Bavo, who's done a lot of the statistics and stuff like that. I retweeted a link from him earlier, and I remember hearing about this, and it does look like it's true. There's 300 players, 300 plus players in KOF, and over a third of them are from someplace not U.S. It's a third of them are international players.
I believe it's 150 international entries, and I think it was 28 countries are represented, or something like that.
Well, the page that I'm looking at right now says 25 countries, and out of 318 players, 204 of them are from the U.S. So that means there's 114 players from international, which is
that's amazing.
Crazy stuff. Yeah.
And KOF has been known for being an international game. It's never done too well here in the States, but internationally it does well. Probably does best overall in China, but China hasn't really gotten too much into this KOF. They're still stuck on 97 and 98. So, James, I mean, you got to go back and talk to your people, man. You need to fix this.
I'll see what I'll talk to my people and see what I can do.
Right.
So,
all right,
cool.
Is there anything else that you want to mention before we move on?
I guess people are very used to seeing Hell Pockets and Metaphysics commentate KOF. This year, they will not be able to do so. Metaphysics can't make it to the show. And
really?
Hell Pockets wants to take a break to help out with some of the Arcade Shock stuff.
Oh, okay.
So this year, it's actually going to be me and Lord Walkman commentating.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sick. Nice. Okay.
That sounds good to me.
So it should be fun.
Yeah, that sounds like a blast.
If you guys want to, see me anywhere, just come to the Arcade Shock booth. I'll be doing beard signings. We can do beard arm wrestling,
All right, hey, if anybody wants to follow you on Twitter,
follow. Yeah, I'm at Manchest on Twitter, all one word, and you can also follow Arcade Shock on Twitter, which is at Arcade Shock. We will have a lot of exclusive stuff at Evo. As James mentioned earlier, a lot of the Street Fighter chibi push buttons and ball tops. We have a button that we have not unveiled yet, which is going to be an Evo exclusive. We have plenty of Kwamba and Hori sticks, and we're going to be the first place that you can actually buy the Hori, the Hayabusa lever in person. So
nice.
Come check us out. We also got new shirts. They're not tank tops. They're not tank tops, but they're new shirts. They're gold foil ones.
All right, man. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me on.
All right,
Appreciate
cool.
it.
Thanks.
Take care.
That was Giby talking about King of Fighters 13. We're going to move on now to our last live guest, who is DJ Huoshen.
Yep.
We're going to be asking him to talk to us about Blaze Blue.
That's right.
We're calling him right now. After this, we still have a lot of games to talk about.
Right.
Like I said, I did some interviews before with some other players that we're going to mention later.
Howdy.
Here's DJ Huoshen. Say hello.
Hello.
So, DJ Huoshen, a.k.a. Chris Miller. I know it's very late for you over there. We apologize. I got bodied by technical difficulties earlier, so...
That's no problem. I have Mysterio first game in KOF, so I've been kind of putting a little bit of work right there. So I'm glad to know that I have to prepare myself for my Chilean overlords.
Oh my god. That's rough, dude.
First round, you said?
First game. First game.
Yikes.
It's alright.
Good luck, man.
So you'll definitely be doing more commentating of KOF than playing that weekend. No, I was kidding.
Yeah, I'll be doing a lot more watching. I'll be checking out the finals, which are on a Saturday, but it's going to be hype nonetheless.
Yes.
But we brought you on to talk about Blaze Blue.
Awesome. So, as everyone knows, we do have a $25,000 bonus prize pot for Blaze Blue. I will talk about that. What also doesn't really get mentioned is there is a $5,000 bonus as well for Arc Revo Cup. So Arc Systems has their own little tournament called Arc Revolution, and basically the winner of Evo is going to be able to take them and one other person. It's a 2-on-2 to Arc Revo. So it's going to be a lot on stake in terms of prize pot.
That's awesome. I didn't know.
Yeah. So I mean, so a lot of people in the chat are wondering about it. It's 25,000 pop bonus, and then the 5,000 is part of that Arc Revo trip, correct?
Correct. That 5,000 is going to be applied to the trip and to the trip costs, and the 25,000 is 20,000 from Arc System, and then 5,000 from ArcSys. So it's two different companies.
Right. So, I mean, looking at the numbers here, there are over 500 players for Blaze Blue. I mean, talk to me about that. I mean, did you think that you would ever see a Blaze Blue tournament with 500 entrants like this?
I'm pretty psyched. I would have told you were crazy about a year ago, but definitely BBCP is, in my opinion, probably the best iteration of the game to date. A lot of the complaints with the game, with it feeling a little slower, have gone away. It definitely plays a lot faster, a lot nicer, and people are just getting into the game with all the new anime games coming up. You got the Persona 4 Ultimax coming up. You got a bunch of other games coming up, so hype is there. People are ready to play, and you're going to see a lot of Japanese players and a lot of international players and American players go head-to-head.
Okay, so let's talk about the players. Who are some players to watch? I guess we can kind of go by nationality. Start with U.S. U.S. has the most entrants according to this. Over 400. Then Japan has 35. Canada has 34, and then it kind of drops off after there. But let's start with people from North America to watch for.
So, depending on where you're from, I'll throw a couple names for you in a couple tournaments. We have our staple Evo, unfortunately second place finisher, but still incredibly strong player, Lord Knight from New York, New Jersey area. He's been sporting Kokonoe recently. We can expect him to do very good things. We can also expect Bananakin with his Kokonoe. You're going to see the Kokonoe army coming out in force. It might not be 1.0, but she is still a pretty good character.
Right.
However, one of the more interesting storylines and one of the more interesting players that I will bring up is Pops.
Yeah.
He is a net player and he won UFGT this past May, and he is a platinum player.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of hype and speculation on how well this player is going to do at Evo. Again, he caught a lot of people unsurprised, but he's an incredibly solid player, does really well in the Midwest region, and has won Frosty Faustings or other previous tournaments in that area. Yeah, so he's definitely a player to look out for.
Really looking forward to him.
Now, did I hear right? He's really young as well, right?
Oh yeah, he's a kid. He's really young. He's not old enough to take to a bar, unfortunately.
No X Factor potions for him.
No, not gonna do that to the poor young boy. But he is an incredibly good player, and again, he won UFGT against a very solid roster of players, including the aforementioned Lord Knight and Bananakin. So
Nice.
He's definitely got a lot of upside to what he can do.
Okay. Let's switch over to talk about Japan.
Japan. So, needless to say, one of the biggest talking points about this tournament is us bowing down to our Japanese-based gods and just letting them take over. A lot of speculation, it's going to be all Japan top 8. And, well, Japan is bringing their killers. I mean, you got Tsujikawa, you got Dogura, you got Dorabang. You got a solid list of Japanese killers who have won major Japanese tournaments before, and it's going to be incredibly scary. But one thing we can always say is we thought it was going to be very scary for America last year with Persona 4 Arena, and then other than Yume, who is just an incredibly strong player on another level, top 4 was America with Lord Knight, with Bananakin, and with Breaker Dave. So America is not slacking. We're going to be prepared. We're going to come hard. And one other player that I'm going to mention real quick that isn't part of the America/Japan group is Kiba. He's coming from Great Britain. He won final round this
Right.
And he's also an incredibly strong Valkyrie player. I do not know if he swapped after the patch, but nonetheless, he's an incredibly talented, incredibly skilled player and has shown the ability to win on the main stage before, so he's definitely a name to look out for.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking through the list of the Japanese players here, and I see like Yosan, Eita, Haitani's playing, and Kazunoko, obviously Momochi, Fudo is gonna play this game. I mean, it sounds like Mago is gonna play it. So yeah, Bonchan,
Umezono is coming. Wow,
MOV,
that's awesome.
Kokojin, and all the. Wow, jeez, like Abigen is gonna play it. Giant's gonna play it.
You can't be scared just because they got the Japanese flag right by their name.
Right.
But
That's right.
that said, they are bringing their killers. Like I
Yeah.
said, they're bringing the best
Okay.
they got, and it's going to be an incredibly hyped tournament. In terms of stream time, pools are not going to be featured
Right.
on the main Evo streams. I will mention, however, they will be featured on Joshua's, JYOSUA, on his pool, on
Okay,
his
great.
stream. So for those trying to catch pools, it's going to be right there. And then quarterfinals and semifinals will be featured on the Evo second stream. And then we will have that 9 a.m. finals. And people will say, oh, it's 9 a.m. Oh, you got the early slot. You just got the Injustice treatment. Well, I'm going to tell you, 9 a.m. is probably the best time for Japanese stream
Exactly.
viewers because
Yeah.
that's going to be 1 a.m.-ish, I believe, around their time. So they'll be able to catch the BBCP, be able to sleep through the American games, and then wake up for Ultra Street Fighter 4.
Okay.
Nice. All right, cool. Yeah, again, the pools will be streamed. Josua got the official okay from Tom to stream
Nice.
from that. So yeah, you can watch the pools on his stream on Friday, right? Is it gonna be Friday or Saturday?
BBC pools are Saturday morning.
Okay, Saturday morning. Okay, cool, good stuff.
Hey, is there anything else that you want to mention before we move on to other stuff?
Well, since we're talking about anime, the side tournament for Persona 4 Arena, there's a bonus $1,000 for that tournament as well. So even the side tournaments for anime are doing incredibly strong.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's just amazing considering how years ago Guilty Gear players had to bring their own Guilty Gear setups.
Yeah, their own consoles. Yeah, and should be mentioned too. I don't know how much of it, but I do know that the top at least 8 or 4 of Persona is going to be streamed on the Mad Cat stream. Correct?
I believe you are correct. I may be wrong on that assumption,
Okay.
like you.
Okay.
But thank you to Markman for streaming
Right.
all these side tournaments that he can possibly do, including Persona 4 Arena and Skullgirls.
Okay. Sounds
Yeah,
good.
definitely. All right. Hey, thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Peace.
Cool. See you this weekend. Awesome.
Yep. I'm going to see everybody this weekend.
Yeah, pretty much. We're gonna see apparently 8,000 people this weekend. So
That's ridiculous, dude.
it's gonna be pretty crazy. That's it for people we're calling. So I'm gonna take this thing off.
Okay, yeah, that's fine because it's destroyed anyway.
Yeah, it's in pieces literally. So
I mean, it's crazy to me because if you think about it, like basketball stadiums, a lot of them like sell out at around like 15,000, people watching. So that means like we're halfway there already. And in fact, if they didn't cap it, it might have even gone higher than 8,000, right? So that's
I mean, 8,000 by itself. That's bigger than most college basketball stadiums, for example. I mean, so yeah. Anyway, it's a big deal. Lots and lots of people coming. Okay, so we've talked about a few of the games. Talked about Blaze Blue, King of Fighters. Talked about Melee. But I also talked with a couple of other people earlier today. I talked to them about Tekken and Killer Instinct, and
Okay.
that was I talked with Rip about Tekken.
nice. Okay.
So Rip, we just talked on Twitter a little bit. We had some DMs going back and forth. Unfortunately, he was busy tonight. He couldn't come and talk to us. But he wanted to point out, some players, some storylines that I thought were interesting. So first thing that he mentioned was that Anakin, who's considered the best Tekken player in the U.S. from Atlanta, is coming to Evo, and it's actually his first time coming to Evo.
Nice. Okay.
Which is
cool.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
He's from the Atlanta area. Final round is kind of Tekken's.
Evo.
Yeah,
right.
right. It has been in many years. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the big tournament for Tekken. So he's finally coming, which is a big thing. Then there are some Japanese players to watch out for. Zegura Kosep, Gen Kids, who's 14 apparently.
Dang.
I remember that
Oh yeah.
I remember hearing about this actually. Now that I think about it,
Well, was it at the Cafe ID tournament that he was at?
it was longer ago than that. I think.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
The apparently the best player in Saudi Arabia is coming.
Oh, dang.
He of course mentioned Americans, including Core, Incognito, Just Frame James, Bronson, who got second place last year, if you recall, which was
Right.
really exciting, I think, for everybody, at least people in the U.S. to watch. Really got people into that. Naps, Mr. Naps, who was the American rep to the Global Championship, the Tekken Tag Tournament 2 Global Championship. So another big guy to watch for. He wanted to point out Lil Majin, who won KIT and SoCal Regionals, and also a tournament in France, the Ultimate Tournament. Of course, Ryan Hart is coming. He's a former Tekken champion at Evo. People nowadays probably just know him for Street Fighter 4, but it wasn't always like that. He was a multi-game kind of player back in the day.
Yeah, and he won Tekken. So.
He won Evo.
Yeah, he won Evo.
Right, yeah. So, which is going to be cool. He's actually in the same pool as Filthy Rich.
Oh, really?
Which is kind of funny.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
He also wanted to mention MMT from Australia, who got top 8 at the Global Championship. But you might have noticed that I have missed a gigantic group of players. Korean players. He says there are no Koreans coming to Evo for Tekken.
That's crazy.
I hear you. Yeah, James is going to go do the research right now.
Because, I mean, like, a lot of the best players, like Nee.
A lot of the best players
are
are from Korea. Absolutely. And
I don't see any listing from Korea at all.
they're not there.
Wow.
They're not coming. So he said that's kind of a, he doesn't really know why that's the case, but that since that is the case, it's kind of up for grabs, because in other years it's kind of been Korea, you expect Korea's going to win, which one of them is going to win. Last year it was cool that Bronson kind of disrupted it to some degree, although he didn't end up winning. But now it's going to be a lot more open.
Right.
Japan, USA, people coming from other countries that I mentioned.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and again, I mean, shout outs to Namco Bandai for just really, really pulling all the stops for this. They added a pot bonus to the tournament. Everybody who enters is getting a really cool Tekken t-shirt as well. So, and shout outs to Markman, of course, who also helped get this all facilitated. Yeah. And so Tekken, I mean, it does have the lowest numbers this year, so it will be completed all on Friday. So the top 8 will actually take place on the first stream at 4 p.m. on Friday. So, but I mean, that's really cool for a lot of the Tekken players, because that means they get to have a lot of fun the next 2 days. And I'm sure Markman will also probably have a lot more Tekken exhibitions at the Mad Catz booth and such like that. So
awesome. Cool. Yeah, 257 people for Tekken. So let's talk about Killer Instinct. I talked with Godspeed about Killer Instinct, who's really taking that game seriously. He's playing it a lot. He's been commentating it a lot too. He wanted to point out, some players. Rico, of course, Rico Suave has been doing really well in the game. He got top 3 at MLG. He has won a major in that game. CD Junior, he also wanted to point out as being a big threat in that game. Of course, Justin Wong, he won MLG, UFGT. In fact, Godspeed was saying that, so Razer put in money for the pot.
Oh, that's right.
And he was saying that he thought that they did that because they expected Justin to win, get a little bit of attention on Razer sponsors, e.g.
And they might even give Justin more motivation to try harder for winning that tournament. But yeah, I mean, he also won CEO as well. So
there you go. Grims. He has done well at a couple of majors, and he was, a lot of people's pick to win or at least get top 3 at MLG. But he didn't do either of those things. He didn't have that great a showing. So, he's still definitely one of the top players. But can he bounce back from that? That's kind of going to be the situation for him. Right. Tyrant, who has had the best results as Spinal, is going to be there, but then Kowalski, who apparently people are saying might be the best Spinal, but he hasn't really shown it yet. He hasn't really been in these major situations. Right. Yeah. And then, of course, My God, who got second place
he was one
at
of the,
MLG.
Yeah, he was one of the guys, I think, who... I don't know if he actually beat Grims or not, but I know he beat Rico Suave pretty badly in losers finals. So,
that was a blow-up.
Yeah.
That was definitely a blow-up. And then after that, people... who are good in everything. PR Rog, Alex Valle, Filipino champ. You know, they all have had some success in the game. Alex Valle got second at UFGT. F-Champ hasn't really been traveling as much lately, but very, very solid Glacius. And then he also wanted to mention Gutter Magic, who had a top 8 at MLG and has really been doing well in Southern California lately.
Okay, cool.
You know, I asked him about storylines and drama, and he said the KI community doesn't really have drama. It's not everybody's just trying to win, and they're all kind of nice about it.
I mean,
and
I saw Tyrant kind of mentioning on Twitter like, you know, I don't want to argue about best spinal anymore. Let's just play our game and let's see who, you know. So maybe that's the extent of it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I'm just curious because obviously there's 8 characters in the game, and characters like Spinal have always considered not to be great, I guess. So,
but still, it's not an old game.
Yeah. I'm just wondering, are we gonna see like a ton of Saberwolves? You know, because Saberwolf has been doing really well.
Right. So he did mention one interesting storyline, which was about the characters. There's lots of disagreement about which character is the best. A lot of people say Saberwolf. He has had the most tournament success, but that could just be because Justin Wong has had a lot of success as Saberwolf. You know, it's not just him. My God, as well.
It's Street Fighter 4. Rufus has the most winning record in like top 8s, and nobody uses him, and he's not even a great character.
It's just Justin and Ricky. Yeah, exactly. So it could be that kind of thing. You know, Godspeed said that he and a few other people think that Jago is still the best. I've also had conversations with other people who say Fulgore is the best.
Really?
Yeah. So it's up in the air, which is going to be interesting to see how each of those characters do. Like you said, only 8. So it'll be really interesting to see where they fall.
That's funny because I remember when Fulgore first came out, people weren't sure how good he was going to be. In fact, I was even saying that I wanted to learn him because he was my favorite character from the original, and people were like, no, don't bother. He's really bad. So I guess that's not the case anymore. Glad to see it. I think that's awesome. So it's always fun to see characters go from bad to good.
Exactly. But, you know, he did also stress that all the characters are good. It's not this kind of tier situation. So whoever the best player is, he was pretty confident was going to win the whole thing. That's what it was more about for him.
Right. Okay.
So Killer Instinct, if you want to watch it, pools are Saturday at 8 a.m. on the second stream, which is twitch.tv/SRKEvo2. You can also watch semifinals there at Saturday at 8 p.m. And then top 8 is going to be Sunday at 11 a.m. on SRK Evo 1.
Yes. Okay.
338 people entered.
That's pretty good, actually. I was
actually
actually surprised. Frankly. Yeah. I mean, it's, again, nothing against Killer Instinct. It's just that it's the only game on the Xbox One platform, right? So
that's it.
That automatically makes it a little bit tougher, but it has more than some of the other games that are in the tournament.